Hello, church. Today, I just wanted to share real quickly here a little message. I sent this out to our church page on Facebook, but I know not everybody gets that sometimes looks in on YouTube. But it gave me some serious thought, and I really had never heard this approach before. Not being a prolific reader, especially since my stroke, I just kind of take one day at a time and let God reveal things and explain things the best I can. And I have to admit that Patrick Mead, my friend back in Franklin, Tennessee, with the Fourth Avenue Church back there, has been a real blessing and helped me grow and learn a little bit more and a little more details. Well, he sent out a little e-blast the other day, and I shared it with you guys. It's talking about you are what tree you eat from. So anyhow, uh, he goes on to explain that Adam and Eve in the garden uh, committed that original sin, and they went ahead and they ate from the tree that is the knowledge of good and evil. And I've always thought about that as they disobeyed God, and that was their sin. But as Patrick explained and shared, and I hope if you haven't looked at that posting yet in the church Facebook page, that you might do that. But he said for many, many years, that's exactly what he thought, disobedience. And unfortunately, we're all disobedient when it comes to God and the things that he prioritizes. But he was reading some books, one by Friedrich Bonhoeffer called Ethics, and another one by a gentleman called Gregory Boyd, who I've got a couple of his books. Can't get through them, they're too deep for me. But his book is Repenting of Religion. Well, the lights for Patrick came on when he read that, and he saw the emphasis on the tree, and the fruit from it was the knowledge of good and evil. And I think that may give us some pause to really reconsider what was their sin. Well, they now knew good from evil. And with that knowledge, we seem to automatically think that we become judges too. I've posted on Facebook a couple of different things going on, in these big cities and people that instigate it, and I said they're evil. But as I look back and think about this and consider it in my mind, I mean, yeah, the action's evil. But in all reality, the truth is that we've stepped out of our place and assumed the position of God when we do that. No wonder the serpent in the garden promised to Adam and Eve, you would be like gods. Wow. Once we understand this, a great deal of Paul's writings seem to become more clear. He wrote about the law being inadequate, even though it was perfect, but it was inadequate. And that is frankly confusing until you understand that the law is perfect in convicting us. But when we use it to convict others, we fail. When we judge others for disobeying the law, we ourselves have disobeyed the law, for we do not love like the law commands. Our focus shifts off our obligation to carry out God's will and off the tree trunk we have in our own eyes, and instead attend to the dust particles in other people's eyes. We assess it on the basis of self-serving knowledge. of good and evil. That's kind of paraphrasing what Boyd wrote on page 121 of that book. I love the fact that, you know, we're close to everything, and you know, it's nice to breathe the fresh air and that. But I just have to take and wonder, are we way too judgmental? And I hear that all the time as a negative thing for Christians. They're just hypocrites, judgmental. Well, I don't want to be a mini judge. God doesn't need my help in judging the truth of good and evil. You know, I think many people have stepped away from Christianity just because of that attitude. And I'm reminded that Mahatma Gandhi said that there'd be a lot more Christians if it wasn't for Christians. We have staged many coups to usurp God's role and act more like judges than servants. What would it be like if we ate from the right tree and reflected life and love in all that we did? What if we left the judging of good and evil to God? Romans 14, 1 through 15, verse 7. What if we busied ourselves with caring for all people? Wow, what might that be like? Maybe like living in the Garden of Eden. I've often said that Scio is right on the edge of the garden. But I just want you to think about those things as we interact with other people. Even people that do things that we, oh, that's evil. Well, it probably is. But we need to pray for that person. And if we love them, we will. I've been praying for a lot of people that I used to, not give a hoot about. Folks, we got to grow in this. We've got to love God with everything we are. We've got to love others. No matter who they are, we need to love them where they're at. And continue to follow Jesus. God bless you. I pray you have a good day, and I hope to see you Sunday morning. You take care, and we'll check you on the flip side.